You're in the Business Insurance Zone with me, Steve Savant, national financial columnist and money color commentator. This week on The Biz, employee stock ownership plans. And on today's show, our very special guest, Keriti Tuioti, national recognized ESOP expert, all here on The Biz.
When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Well, welcome everyone to the Business Insurance Zone. I am Steve Savant, your host, and we're broadcasting live to a nationwide audience of financial advisors right here in Fountain Hills, Arizona, home of America's largest fountain. With me today, oh my gosh, day 4, Keriti, Keriti. Boy, I got to tell you, anything with vowels is difficult for me.
That's all right. That's all right.
And we're getting into ESOPs today, which that has a couple of vowels too, but at least I can handle that. Keriti, I'm talking about ESOPs, and what we did yesterday was we talked about C Corps and S Corps, the mechanics, the real mechanics. And again, if you're entering our show on Thursday, please start over. Watch the Monday through Wednesday show so that you can really put a foundation on top of what we are going to talk about today, because we're going to get into some pros and cons as well today, because it's not all wonderful. There are certain things we got to address, and we want to be full disclosure and be a little bit transparent about ESOPs. Before you do it, let's take that $1 million example we were using yesterday. We did C Corp, we did S Corp, but now let's do both. And walk us through the $1 million mechanics there.
That's a good question. The benefit, again, we talked about, it all depends on the situation, because with a C Corp, you had to have the ability to go out and get that third-party lending. You had to have the ability to borrow the money. So let's assume that the company today is a C Corp, and they have the ability to do that. So the owner, if we have that ability, then we can do the transaction where we purchase, the owner can sell his or her stock to the trust. The company now has the cash to purchase and do the tax-free rollout. So over a period of time, now the strategy is for the owner is, I want to be able to defer the capital gain of all my $1 million. So we do the process of we purchase, the ESOP purchases the stock, owner rolls it out, defers the tax, reinvests the stock.
His portion's out of the company.
His portion out of the company reduces his risk. Remember, he had all the exposure in the company, reduces his risk, and now he's diversified outside of the company. So after the entire $1 million has been retired, the company can go back and switch to an S. If they want to operate as a tax-free entity going forward. There's a huge benefit to that, because if you're not paying profits, taxes on your profits, you have the ability as a company to grow. You know, grow from $1 million company to a $3 million company to a $5 million, which is really what the goal is for the employees who purchase the stock. They want to have the ability to expand operations, to invest in other entities if possible, just grow their company from $1 million. That's what you want to do as an employee. And here you are, you're gonna make the commitment to stay with the company. You want to be able to see the company grow from where it is today to this level, so that when I retire, I want my part to be bigger than it is today. So that's the advantage of an S versus a C. The huge advantage for the owner and the company is for the owner to take it tax free, defer the capital gain tax on that. The advantage for the company is that it has the ability to repay back that loan with pre-tax dollars and pay interest and principal at the same time, all deductible.
And once I'm done with that,
once you're done with
step one,
then you have the ability, or you have the option, you have the option of converting, staying a C Corp, or if you want to, you can convert to an S and take advantage of the tax exempt status going forward as a company. So those are all the choices that the owner could make, and also the key management team could make, along with you as the advisor.
Yeah, this is huge for employees. I think this is great to not be saddled with future taxable event on your profits. See, that's huge leverage.
There's cash flow. It allows for you to grow. Remember, in the traditional way, the profits are they flow down to the owner, right? The shareholder. Well, there's no more. The shareholder is the shareholder is the ESOP, and it's tax exempt. So the taxable profits flow down to the ESOP, and the ESOP pays no taxes. So now the ESOP has the ability to help the company grow and so forth for the benefit of the employees.
Well, now, and of course, we've been espousing the wonderful issues of an ESOP, and there are huge tax advantages. leverage. I can see the pivoting to estate planning, retirement income, business succession planning. These are all great ideas. And I think the ability to say, I'm going to stay just C Corp and do the C Corp ESOP scenario or the S Corp ESOP scenario or this
pivots.
combination, which I love,
Right.
and to have all those three ideas are really good. Now, what I want to do is I want to set us up because I want to really address also in full disclosure, I want to talk about transparency because this isn't for everybody.
No.
And so there are limitations and there's certain areas that will be, and when we do an examination of a first contact where we're collecting data from the client, will we be able to pretty much understand that? Is this a ESOP idea?
If the client is willing, yes. If the client is willing to open up, the tax returns and have us communicate with his or her CPA, we can really assess right from the get-go, Steve, whether it's suitable for that particular company.
So-
We talked earlier about the profile. And typically, if you have a company that's less than 20 employees, that's probably not a good profile because you had to have the group, the employee, just like a 401k plan.
So if I have viewers out there right now, they're saying, Steve, most of mine are under 20, this probably will not be a way to go.
It probably is not a way to go.
So my first entry is 20 people, and what is my size, would you say?
I would say typically you're looking at earnings before taxes and interest, your EBITDA of somewhere around the $500,000 range. So if you have a company pre-tax profits of $500,000 and above, that's a pretty good candidate for this.
So
thing.
$500,000 above in
$500,000
pre-tax,
above.
20 employees.
20.
This could be something to look at. Now, if I don't have those two issues, maybe this is not what I should do then.
That's correct. Maybe we can pivot to something else.
Excellent. And by the way, that's what I like about it. You can always pivot to one of those big three.
That's right.
We come back from the break. We're going to address some of the negative issues of an ESOP, just make sure we cover our E&O here, and how you can integrate using ESOPs in your practice. And don't forget, you need to sign up on IULUniversity.com for the best training, education, and sales support when it comes to life insurance.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Did you know the average 401k runs out of money just 7 to 8 years into retirement? Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, and many other publications have warned of the difficulty of saving with a 401k. But what if there was a way to create tax-free lifetime retirement income with no stock market risk? Good news, there is.
Living in fear of the next market dive is not the way I want to live my life.
Why would I go out there and take on risk when I don't need to?
I have a lot less stress knowing I can't lose any more of my retirement savings in the stock market.
Call now to receive your free, no-obligation analysis of what this retirement vehicle could do for you, a comparison to your current retirement plan, and a free video that explains this exciting opportunity. Start planning a retirement you can enjoy instead of worrying about future tax increases and stock market losses. Creating income that will last your entire life is the most important thing you'll ever do. Take control of your future. Call now for your free analysis, comparison, and video.
Well, welcome back to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm Steve Savant. And remember, you can order today's giveaways at thebiz.tv. Our mini manual on ESOPs. I just love it because it's a nice, easy 5-page LED entry level into ESOPs. You'll read that, you'll say, oh, see, this isn't that bad. There are mechanics, there's some complexities, and that's why you're going to need Keriti to walk you through this, and this is why he's partnering with us, not only being our guest on the show, but we want our people to always be armed with experts in their field. Some of you have seen Ken Davis on my show many times. He's Mr. Escort when it comes to Section 79. He knows so many other areas as well, but Keriti's got this area of ESOPs, which I think is deep intel and can really promote your business in my view, a distinctive way to really get into business owners.
There's so many pivots. You
I
can
know,
go with
it's just
this,
great.
not just ESOPs.
Well, let's be full disclosure now. All this week we've been talking about the beauty of it, the
Yep.
tax advantages, the leverage, the discounted dollar issues. What about the bad boy issues? Are there any cons to doing ESOPs? Because some people may want to say, man, I'm just going to do this with everybody.
Well, I think the biggest negative is that, we're dealing with debt, right? There's, and you have to be very careful, and that's why we use that's where the attorneys and the other technical advisors we have, that they've got to go through the suitability because you don't want to overlay so much debt on the company, whether it be with a C Corp or an S Corp, because we're going forward, if you have a lot of debt, going forward and the economy goes flat lines,
Mm-hmm.
then could have significant impact as far as the employees are concerned. So, Steve, in my opinion, that's probably the biggest thing. That's why we have to be careful is just having too much debt on the company. That's why with a C corp, we say you sell 30%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the owner is able to get out, 30% maybe initially.
Sure.
Let's pay off that debt, and then let's do another one. Do it in tranches. So maybe this year, next year, or a year after that. And the key is we're not looking at somebody with an ESOP strategy. You're not looking at somebody who's going to cash out all of it right away. So that's the disadvantage of an
So
ESOP.
that staging it helps then, because you're
Right,
retiring the debt,
right.
going to the next
So
stage. Retiring
if
the
I
debt.
want to get out today, I want to retire tomorrow, right? I sit down with you and say, well, I don't have a cash buyer. It may not work for me as an owner. So that's the disadvantage of ESOP, because it's really for a term. We do it in order over a period of years. So that's the disadvantage of an ESOP, is the owner is not able to get out his or her entire equity all in one fell swoop.
Do you see that the older owners in their early 60s, are they okay with amortizing this, or no, they're looking to do lump sums?
Again, it depends on the situation. They would love to have the lump sum, but they recognize that this doesn't create the lump sum for them. So they're okay with it. And especially if you put them in a position where, this is actually really good from a dollar cost average standpoint. If you have a program that you already are thinking about recommending to them, let's say that you have an insurance program that you have in place, and you've already just have that discussion with them. And here's an opportunity to, over a period of time, every year you get a lump sum out, you put it into your baskets. And I think if you set it up that way, the owner will understand that, okay, it's okay. I don't need to have it all out at once.
Would you say, because one of the negatives I've heard on ESOPs is, the shareholders could have gotten an outside buyer to buy this for a lot more value than what we're evaluating it now. Do you see that really, though, in today's market?
No,
I mean, I
not at
hear
all.
this, but it really isn't reality. It's an ESOP myth, if
That's
you don't
right.
mind me saying.
It is one of those
It's a
myths.
fable, yeah.
But you think about it. Most of at least my clients, they're not. You're not going to have a strategic buy, because what they have, their product is maybe once in a great mood they have a unique product where a strategic buyer will come in. Now, if you have a strategic buyer, then that's the best of all worlds, because they have the cash and they have the ability to come in. But for the most part, no. Very few people will come and lay down $1 million or $5 million and say, "Here, Steve, let me buy your construction company for $5 million." They don't have that ability to do that.
This is why I like
I don't
ESOPs
see it.
again, because
I
it's
don't see it.
kind of works with, if you're into a recession or a very slow growth economy, the odds are you getting a suitor that's going to pay you more than this value here may not be reality.
No, that's correct.
Okay, so to me, that's kind of it fits even better in our situation that we are at, if not only as a nation, but I think sometimes when people look at this, they go, well, I'll just go get a suitor. Well, good luck. Good luck
In my
with that.
experience, no, it's not a reality.
What about the employees now? They own it. Here's what I've heard, another gripe about ESOPs. I own it now, but I'm going to leave the company. Now, how do I get my money out? Let's talk a little about that, because that's usually an employee gripe.
Right. There is of course, there's a schedule, right? There's a scale. They have to be with the company for a certain period of time, just like any qualified plan. They have to be there any qualified plan is set up for long term. So it's not for the seasonal person that comes in and then quits and so forth. So it really rewards those who are going to stay to help build the company. Now, the disadvantage of the ESOP versus a 401k, with a 401k, let's say I qualify to take my distribution out of my 401k, I can get the cash out because the cash is there. Here, we're talking about stock. You're in the ESOP trust. So the company has to have the cash. Let's say that you have in your bucket of the ESOP, you have $100,000, and you're gonna you quit the company today, and you've qualified for that $100,000. Well, with an ESOP, unlike a 401k where you can get that 100 and roll it into another 401k plan, with an ESOP trust, there's a 5-year period where the company can pay you. So that's the disadvantage, is that you don't get the $100,000 right away. There's
And you wouldn't get any of the appreciation during that 5 years either. You already have a
that's
fixed
right.
benefit
That's
coming
right.
out.
So that's a little disadvantage of the employees, but the purpose is to protect the company, because if everybody all leaves at once, and the company's going to have to liquidate, it's going to jeopardize the company. So there are reasons why they set it up that way.
Remember, you can watch this show and all our shows by clicking the red on-demand video button right on our homepage at brokersalliance.com. Unbelievable, I have to say. That's the Buzz on the Biz for today. Get in the zone, the business insurance zone.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.